Will the Chicago Blackhawks lay down or will they fight against the Golden Knights as we saw in the first two meetings between these two teams? Chicago stole one game and they made a late charge in another. More ahead on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Tony Cordasco, marketing and events consultant, longtime sportscaster, and host of the Believe in Vegas, the new podcast. And he is Chris Golick, the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and collectibles editor for the Hockey News. Coming up ahead on today's show, we'll have our preview of VGK and the Predators, and also What the Friday, in addition to the Blackhawks preview. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. It is March Madness, and we're coming down to the Elite Eight. Check out all the action on FanDuel.com. I believe it's the former, right? I believe that the Blackhawks will lay down. I feel that they are just out of steam. They lack the depth, and they're also trying to tank games now. And I feel that they're going to lay down. I really do against VGK. Blackhawks defeated the Golden Knights and Ilya Samsonov 5-3 with 3 goals in the first period in the first meeting of the season. The second meeting, VGK nearly blew that big lead. Remember, they scored 5 goals in the first period, and then the Golden Knights had to hang on for a 7-5 victory. Do you believe that this Blackhawks team has anything left in the tank, or are they going to tank?
So January 18th was the game you referenced where the Golden Knights lost to the Chicago Blackhawks. Since that game, that was game number 46 of the regular season. This is going to be game number 73. So it's like 27 games or something like that between the two. The Blackhawks have won 7 games since defeating the Golden Knights back on January the 18th. Furthermore, they're losers of 8 of their last 9. Can the Golden Knights lose this game? Yeah, they're on the road. It's hard to paint a picture as to what is going to make it a tough spot for the Vegas Golden Knights. The Blackhawks been home for a couple days. A little bit. This is the third game of a homestand right now. They lost 5-3 to the Devils at home. They beat the Flyers 7-4. So expect maybe a high scoring affair. If who's the goalie? Is Mrazek? He got traded, didn't he?
Yes. So I'll tell you about those deals.
Okay.
So since the Golden Knights last saw the Blackhawks, they have made some moves. And again, the miserable Seth Jones goes to Florida in exchange for, you like that, in exchange for Spencer Knight. That's who it was, remember?
Okay, yeah, I forgot about Spencer Knight, yeah.
Yeah, and then Peter Mrazek and Craig Smith went to the Red Wings in exchange for Joe Veleno. Knight, by the way, they're really pleased with the way that he's been performing, although his numbers are way down, as you would suspect, since he moved over from Florida. I think he was 12-8 there with the Panthers, and he's 3-5 with Chicago, and allowing 3 goals and a save percentage of .894.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, trying to find an angle. Like the last time the two teams played, I might have even picked the Blackhawks.
I think you picked them. Yeah, you did.
I might have picked them the last time they played. I think I did pick them I think I picked them both times, honestly.
Uh-huh.
And the angle when it was that crazy 5-goal first period and all that, the angle on that game wasn't anything more than a bad team has to win a hockey game every now and then. And that was
that's
why
a good
I went that direction.
When you're betting. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no sometimes you try and look at games with an analytical hat on and you look at the betting line, try and come to some conclusions and figure it out. But I mean, Golden Knights are minus 300, overwhelming favorites against the Blackhawks team that would love nothing more than being the top 3 for next year's draft, if not the top 1, if they can pull that off and get another potential with McKenna, right? I think that's who it's going to be this year. I'm not sure if he's coming out this year or not, but either way, this is a carbon copy of what the Chicago Blackhawks did in the Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves era, and all the pieces that they added, Seabrook, Duncan Keith, through drafts and trades and stuff like that. So Golden Knights should hopefully be able to help the Blackhawks in their way of continuing their rebuild
Connor Bedard, we haven't spoken about him here, and we're about 5 minutes into the show. Bedard, 56 points. He is a minus 38. Poor fellow. I just feel bad for him. He did have a 2-point game a couple of games ago. The interim coach, who is Anders Sorensen, he's been saying that the fans are pretty pissed off at Sorensen right now because he says that Bedard isn't getting calls. They feel as though he's getting roughed up. No one's really come to the aid of Bedard. However, the time to make a statement is in the game and to argue with the refs, right? And to get into it. Now, Sorensen says, well, the refs aren't going to make a change of their call. Okay, but you still have to stick up for your player. And so the Chicago fans, which have really nothing else to stew about right now, are pretty upset with the coach because he is not helping out Connor Bedard and no one's coming to his aid. So VGK might have a field day. Did you see when Connor Bedard was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago? First, he takes a really big hit, and then he's skating and going after a loose puck, and then he gets blasted in the face or in the neck area with the puck. Poor guy has had a really rough season. And, of course, I think with a good team and some players around him, he's elite. He'll be a superstar someday. I still believe that.
There's idiots around the Chicago and the NHL and fans and social media that are suggesting the Blackhawks should trade Connor Bedard. And like, what would you possibly even trade him for?
Ben Hutton.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Ben Hutton. Perfect. Okay, problem solved. Yes, good call. 31-year-old Ben Hutton, all 6 of his games this year. But I mean, I don't know. Like, people are dogging on Bedard from a collectible standpoint. For my business, he's dropped substantially as far as the values of his sports cards because everyone thought he was going to be Wayne Gretzky. People thought that not Ovechkin was going to break the scoring record. People thought that Bedard was going to break the scoring record in his first season. They thought he was going to score 900 goals in his first season, and he didn't do that. So Bedard sucks, apparently.
Remember, they had an astronomical point total for him for the first season.
Oh, God, we did over-unders.
Remember, we did that. Well,
we laughed when we saw it, I think.
Yeah, and then we also
looked like 90 or something stupidly high.
It was some really dumb number that we should have went to the bank on that one.
Yeah, no, I hate betting futures that long, but yeah, whatever. I mean, Bedard, 117 points, 140 games. By the way, he's 19 years old. So, he had a pair of misconducts recently. One looked like he was kind of chirping under his breath and met a sensitive ref that knew the camera was on him. And then he got a 10-minute at the end of the game for a ruckus breaking out. Like,
that was a good one. And, yeah, that was worth it.
And people are like dogging him about his persona, and he's just kind of seems standoffish and he looks miserable all the time. Has anyone looked at Connor McDavid in a while? He's hurt, so you're not going to see him, but McDavid looks that way every game. Outside of jumping for joy like he won Game 7 of the Cup when he won the Four Nations exhibition tournaments, you see nothing out of Connor McDavid, nothing out of him. So, Nate McKinnon said he wishes he would have had a sophomore campaign as good as Bedard, or he wishes he was as good as he was when he was 19, whatever it was. So there's so much upside for Bedard, and people just got to let him be a 19-year-old professional athlete trying to find his way. Now, where the Blackhawks are screwing this thing up is who they're putting around him. Pat Maroon, okay, woohoo, there we go. Seth Jones, these kids really going to figure it out. Taylor Hall, who's been a reject on 7 different franchises, I think, as a number 1 overall pick. So, I mean, this is where the Blackhawks are kind of screwing up this kid's future. I'm not sure what's going to happen in free agency and who even wants to go to Chicago right now, given the circumstances. But in due time, Bedard's going to rise above. He's going to become a point-per-game player. He's going to have his first triple-digit point season probably in the next 2 or 3 years, and all be fine. But this is a sensitive time for the 19-year-old, and they got to work it out. And on the Golden Knights side of this podcast, Golden Knights are here for all this madness, and the Golden Knights need to make Bedard's life miserable. I mean, the picture for the graphic on this show is White Cloud obliviating him in one of the games they played earlier in the season.
Yeah, they're going to have to really just check him, make sure that he's not in any plays.
They got nothing else. The Hawks literally have nothing else right now.
They have nothing else.
They got Lucas Reichel. What do you do?
I know. Coming up next, we will have our preview of VGK against Nashville and we'll have a renewed acquaintance with the one and only Jonathan
Marchie.
Marchessault. We'll talk about that as we return right here on this WTF edition of Lockdown Golden Knights. March Madness is here, and we're going into the Elite Eight, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on all the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet your first $5 bet, and that bet needs to win. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters. We did see one of those in the tournament. Not a ton of Cinderella stories this year. Why? Because of name, image, and likeness. That's another show. And even you need to figure out who do you think still will be cutting down the nets. So again, all the teams that are there right now in the mix are teams that have a lot of star power. And we saw Alabama come out just gunning threes, high scoring. I like those sorts of games. A lot of people were betting in game totals on that game, which started out at like 182. And I think by the end, had to be well over 200 points. So if you want to watch a team that just runs up and down the court, take a look at Bama with point spreads and totals. There's in-game props and much, much more with tournament games happening now. Currently, it is so exciting to find the action there on FanDuel. And plus, it's easy and fast. The FanDuel app is so simple to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly, no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com, get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel coming up later on. In this program, we will have our WTF segment. So, the good old friend Jonathan Marchessault, he of Marchessault Madness. So they'll still be playing in March. So we will have some degree of Marchessault madness coming up. But he's 20 points below his total of a year ago and not scoring the way that we thought he might, especially when they put Steven Stamkos there. The biggest issue that they've had with Marchessault is just the fact that they moved him around. We saw his frustration takes out his anger on that no call where he goes across the ice after he was going. He's going up against Alexei Turchenko, and Turchenko sort of boards him. Marchessault is mad that there's no call. He gets up just whacking away on the Russian, whack-a-Russian, whatever he's doing there, just slashing him. And then the puck goes to the other side of the ice, and Marchessault goes across the net from one side to the other, and he just absolutely smashes Philip Broberg. This is not, we know that Marchessault could get under any player's skin because he just chirps the entire game, but he just went bananas. I've never seen him like implode in that manner, and I think it had to be a matter of all of the frustration coming out for him.
So the Preds have scored 180 something goals to the Golden Knights 240 something goals. Golden Knights have outscored the Preds by about 25 points. Marchessault from a year ago is basically, like you said, right now he's 20 points behind, but hopefully he'll play the last 11 games, put up 5 or 6 more points. If you look at the percentage of the team's points, he's actually maybe doing better in Nashville. As weird as that sounds, I can crunch the numbers down a little more. I don't care that much. But point being is, when you look at the team from a totality standpoint, how the Preds are doing, how many goals they scored versus the Golden Knights, how many goals they've scored this year, I don't think Jonathan Marchessault's season is that far off. And some people on Twitter were talking about, it's the better deal to, let Marchessault go. You look at what's happening, the moves that got made and everything. And a lot of people are comparing him directly to Pavel Dorofeev, saying Dorofeev head over heels is the better player of the two. Marchessault is still the better player than Dorofeev, but that's another conversation for another time here. And, Marchessault's not doing that bad. That's the point. That's the point here. He's on a POS team with a POS coach with a GM who's up there in the booth playing video games with the roster right now, thinking you can put the best offseason team together and then you can play NHL 26, I think is what we're on right now, 25. You can play NHL 25 from the press box and have a good team. It's not how it works, unfortunately. So Barry Trotz's going to have to go back to the drawing board in the offseason and decide, is this the path for the team? Are we keeping Stammer? Are we keeping Marchessault? Are they going to try and blow the whole thing up? Here's what I said today with the Tortorella news breaking, which, again, I think the Flyers waited to fire him until after our podcast again this morning, by the way, to early WTF. I want to see Tortorella in Nashville. I think that is a perfect place for Tortorella.
I was going to ask you, do you think he's washed? Do you think he's going to coach again, other than
I think he's definitely going to coach again. I don't think you can take the fire away from him, but he's not going to take a rebuild. I mean, listen, he threw the white flag. He couldn't take anymore. He made some stupid comments after the last game, basically kind of almost said, this isn't what I signed up for, in not so many words. So Danny Briere, the GM, had no choice but to kick him to the curb at that point, because it would do nothing more than, for having him on the bench. Now, you put him on a roster that's close, especially the Preds. The Preds are perfect. The Preds are perfect. On paper, they got a good team. They need to be pushed. They need a coach who's going to go in there, and he doesn't care if Marchessault got 5x5 and what Stamkos did in his career, and the fact that Roman Josi is every year the Norris finalist. He doesn't care about any of that. He's going to make them earn their minutes, earn their ice time, earn their spots on the roster. And Seattle's another place I was thinking as well. These fringe type of teams that are expected to be in playoff contention. Someone joked about the Blackhawks, and that's not a good idea.
I want them in the Pacific, right? Because then we get a chance to see more.
Seattle.
That would be good. By the way, Thursday night, which we're recording this show, on Thursday night, St. Louis improves its winning streak now up to 8 games.
Oh, they won. I thought they were losing.
So it was 2-1 at the end of 2 periods in favor of Nashville. And the Blues came back to win that game 3-2. It's the third time in 10 days. They've defeated Nashville. Boy, that schedule's absolutely rigged. That's awful. They play the hottest team. So 3 of the 8 wins on the win streak are against the Predators. Luke Evangelista, I was reading one of his
like Evangelista a lot.
He said that it's been a grind personally and as a team. That pretty much summarizes their season. On a positive note, you see Saros with his 200th win recently.
Yeah, I mean, in the net, you got Saros, and now Onunion traded from Colorado, and Scott Wedgwood. Scott Wedgwood, I forgot about him as well, but whatever.
Yeah.
Point being is that Saros is the man, 52 games, 18-27, but an .899 save percentage and 288 goals against. So he's doing fine given the circumstances. Points, Philip Forsberg played all the games, 66 points. Marchessault, another healthy year, 49 points. I talked about the difference in the outputs from the scoring outputs between the two teams. I think Marchessault's having a good year, all things considered. Stamkos, 45 points. Ryan O'Reilly, 43. Josi, 38. But God, these minus numbers. Look at this. -15, -23, -20. That is just oddly enough, Nick Blankenberg, a young player, a defenseman's +9. Adam Wisby, 23 games, he's +3. And basically anyone who's played 50 or more games is a minus on this roster. So
jeez.
Like the Blackhawks, you got a team that just has absolutely nothing going for them. They will take pride in trying to play spoiler. They will do their best they can for their fans and for themselves. And it's not, even though it seems like it should be, it's not going to be an easy spot for the Golden Knights. They lost to the Preds too, right? When their first trip down there?
Yeah, they lost there.
So there you go.
Coming up next, it is that time of the week again. It is WTF. Don't go away. We'll have much more on the way right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Daylight savings snuck up on us again. That's right. And if you are feeling that lost hour of sleep, like Golic is, 5-Hour Energy has your back. That extra sunshine means more time for a lot of fun, but sometimes we need a boost to power through. whether you are staying up late to watch the NCAA tournament games, squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick me up whenever you need it. Basketball madness, oh, yes. Not between basketball madness and late nights in the lab, I've been staying up late and again watching the tournament action, doing a ton of work like Golick does as well. The extra daylight, extra activities with the longer days. I really do love to get outside. It is absolutely beautiful out, and Tropical Burst is my go-to for a quick burst in the afternoon. And on the go convenience, whether you're at a game or you're traveling, 5 Hour Energy is easy to grab, and it definitely keeps you feeling refreshed. So head to 5 Hour Energy and go to 5hourenergy.com, and you will find over 15 flavors to choose from. Some of those flavors include watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack, and it's delivered right to your door. Need one now? Grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local supermarket or convenience store. They are everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized again. Keep up with all the madness with 5 Hour Energy. Visit 5hourenergy.com to stock up and save. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. This is WTT. What, the Thursday, right? It's not really Friday yet.
I had a what the Thursday in today's earlier show, yesterday's show too. I forgot what it was though.
Oh yeah, you've had some good ones of late. Thanks so much again to everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers around the world. We do appreciate you for making us a very successful podcast here and your go-to and your first listen every day. WTF time. Pavel Dorofeev, please, I implore you, I beg you, stop hitting the post. Stop hitting post. Either you put the puck in the stinking net or miss it entirely like Kolasar. I just had to do that. Remember earlier this week, he hit Mark Stone in the face off of the iron against Tampa. And yes, poor stitch job too. The thing about that play was the fact that there was just terrific sportsmanship. Tampa had a couple of players immediately trying to help and come to the aid of Mark Stone, which I thought you really don't see that often in hockey, right? I don't think.
Stuff like that you see a little bit more. Stuff like that.
What did you do? What was that? A puck? Where were you doing?
Yeah, a flying puck. Kolasar took a shot. He almost hit me.
Oh, God.
Oddly enough, it was a Dallas Stars Cody Eakin autographed puck, too.
Jeez Louise.
I don't know how I got that, but yeah.
You're going way back, bro. But I think the rallying point for Stone gets up off the ice or off the canvas. The blood is pouring down his face, and he's waving to the crowd. And the crowd just goes bonkers. So that was a pretty cool thing. But again, please stop hitting the post, Dorofeev.
He's going to kill somebody.
He is. And he's done it repeatedly. He must have the most posts for VGK, right? By far. He's had a lot of posts.
Like 12.
It's 12 of them. Okay, WTF. Speaking of injuries, no word yet on Tomas. God, I hate saying it that way.
Because no one's asked him. Because no one's asked the question. What's his official designation? What's his
exactly?
Is he week to week? Is he month to month?
Right. Boarded, injured earlier in the week. Can State Run do us a favor and get an update for the fans and for the rest of the media?
I just want to know what his designation is. Like, I don't know if there's anything out there right now.
There's nothing out there because the team is not at home. You can't ask those questions.
Daily Faceoff just has outs.
Okay. And there is no designation. He's basically day to day.
There's no designation. So he's nothing.
Right. He's nothing to nothing. Yeah. WTF.
He's nothing on Puckpedia.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
They have it as day to day, but I don't know if that's a general thing that they list.
It's a general thing. I'm sure that's just a general thing, bro. But I mean, again, they're just so secretive in the NHL, and Here in Vegas, they're even more secretive. WTF? What do you have, Golick?
Okay. Where's all the trains? Whenever we drive over the bridge, the train bridge, 215 in Decatur, there's a busy railroad line that goes under there. Every time we used to drive down there, whether it's me going to the other side of town or me and the kids, you look down there, you see a train. You see a train. Me and my dad did it all the time. You look for trains when you're going by. We like trains, whatever. We haven't seen a train down there in forever. And then when we come home from like a Golden Knights game, we always drive through downtown because Chris likes to see Fremont and everything. So we drive through downtown and everything. So we cross that same railroad line at basically, what would that be, like MLK and all that, where it goes over right behind Main Street Station over there. Right behind Main Street Station. There's no trains down there. Where's all the trains? That with the tariffs, I don't know what's going on, but there's no trains in Vegas anymore. I want to know where the heck they all went. Opening day, yesterday, I guess, technically speaking. Opening day of Major League Baseball. All the stadiums are full. Every team has hope. Every team's got a shot to go to the World Series. And then now we have today, Friday. All those same stadiums will have like 15% of yesterday's attendance numbers. It's the same thing every year. Cheers to the White Sox in another wasted year of a tremendous possible five-tool talent in Luis Robert. It pisses me off because I've got $10,000 of Luis Robert baseball cards in that safe behind me that aren't going to make any money as long as he stays a member of the poorly achieving Chicago White Sox. And my last one has to do with Evander Kane and the Edmonton Oilers. Evander Kane's skating right now, by the way. And he looks pretty good. Now, granted, it's early. He's been out all season. It's going to take him a while to get back and everything.
Can he play goalie?
Fair enough. But this goes back to the game number 82 versus playoff game number 1 situation that the NHL needs to figure out. If a player can play game 1 of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, they likely could have played in game 82 of the regular season. Now, I know it's not necessarily that cut and dry at times. I respect that. I understand that sometimes it really, the 4 or 5 days between the end of the regular season and the playoffs could matter. But most of the time, if you can play game 82, you can play game 1 of the playoffs. Something needs to be done when players miss game 82, whether it's they're automatically suspended for the first 2 games of round 1, just whatever it may be, something where, or the NHL needs to dig harder in these injuries and get more than simply one MRI or one doctor thing that says, yep, he's injured. He'll come back at some point, and they'll give you a 35-day window, with the 35th day being the first game of the playoffs. He wasn't good for those first 34, but that 35th, let's go. He's ready to go. So Oilers aren't doing anything wrong. They're taking the ball and running with it, just like the Golden Knights, just like the Tampa Bay Lightning, just like the Chicago Blackhawks. Not at all faulting the Oilers for what they're doing or Evander Kane. NHL needs to figure this out, or it's never going to end. WTF. And where's the trains? Where's the trains?
Well, you can see a train there at the M Hotel Casino on May the 3rd. Pat Monahan and Train, the band, if you're looking for Train. WTF. This is a good one from Stephen Williams. And we admit when we're wrong. We're wrong like every day on the show, but we're mostly right, but we're sometimes wrong. WTF. How have you guys gone from saying Hurdle was a bust at the end of last season to our Stanley Cup chances rest with him being healthy?
Fair.
WTF. Fair. And I think that's
fair.
Fair. That's a fair assessment.
And
then there were some other ones tailing on to that. There was a train here of comments. Brett Stefanik said he proved them wrong. LOL. Happens sometimes. Fair. We were wrong.
I'm glad he did.
They said a guy with like 5 followers, Intact Craft or Craft Intact or whatever, trained something. Hill was also washed up and 2 injured. Don't trust them for takes on hockey. WTF.
Hill hasn't proved a damn thing since let's relax for a second. All right. He's not even playing on his new contract yet. Let's pump the brakes on Aiden Hill. Pump the brakes.
What else do we have? Is it officially Bottle Rat season from G-Dub, our guy? So Bottle Rats, yes, it is officially Bottle Rat season. So Bottle Rats are in the clubs. They're the people that come to your table, steal all your booze, and then just say we're all going to the bathroom at the same time. So just in case you're wondering out there, runs.
Oh, I got one more.
Okay. Speaking of trains, we're off the rails right now.
Yeah.
E-runs,
Oh, boy, here
WTF,
we go.
2 days off, back-to-back games in 22 hours with travel, 2 days off. Now that's a rigged schedule, WTF. WTF from E-runs too. VGK are 29th in power play attempts, but they're number 1 in scoring. That's a WTF right there. Go ahead. Take us out of this deal.
So I learned about a hack the other day. I was on some random Las Vegas Facebook group thing. Panda Express. Here's a Panda Express hack. You ready?
Yeah.
Don't say, because you can get like a single, a double, or like a platter where it's 3 entrees. So here's what you do. If you want to get more orange chicken, pay attention. You tell me you want to do 3 things. You want to do a platter of 3.
3 items.
Don't tell them all 3 at once. That's the key. You say you want orange chicken, and then you wait a second. You look around. We'll do orange chicken again. We'll double down. And then you wait. Then you tell them one more time, oh, heck with it. We're going all orange chicken. I guess you get more. Chicken. I guess you get more chicken that way.
You probably will.
Disclosing how you want that you want 3 right away. So try the Panda Express hack and let us know in the comments if that works or not.
Okay. And the other thing too, you're talking about fast food-ish, Chipotle. You have to make sure that you stand there as they're putting, so they don't scrimp on the ingredients like for your burrito. So you just stand over them and make sure. Evil eye? No, because they were definitely shortchanging a lot of folks. So the key there is to go, no, I want more chicken right there. Okay, my burrito. Nope, hang on. More guacamole. Yeah, you just have to make sure that you're.
I got a feeling they'll give you the guac, no questions asked, but I'm guessing they're pretty particular when it comes to the meats.
Okay. We're pretty particular about trains, planes, automobiles, what have you. We appreciate you tuning in on today's show. Thank you so much. And you talked about the first day of baseball. Holy smokes, I'm watching the Yankee game going, thank God I'm in Vegas. Those people were cold. They're wearing like winter coats.
Chicago looked a little chilly too. But that's the fun of going to baseball.
No, yeah, that's fun.
Not the freezing part, Tony. Not the freezing part.
We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Please make sure to subscribe to our Lockdown Golden Knights YouTube channel. And again, we'll see you on Monday. For my man, Chris Golick, I am Tony Cardasco. We come to you from Las Vegas. We'll see you again next time on Monday, right here on Lockdown Golden Knights. And please take care.